Hey there, welcome to my time-lapse video of my speed painting Brat Witch. It's primarily a watercolor and ink painting, but there is also a little bit of acrylic paint in the background. So one thing you always want to do with watercolor is make sure you start with your lighter colors first, just because once you go dark you can't really go back. So you always want to make sure you leave whatever light colors you need open in your piece before you go over with the darker shades. Another great thing about starting with lighter colors is you can make really great undertones. So here I'm just making some orange and purple undertones for my vulture, which will not be quite as visible once I go over all the shading that I do. Just makes them a little bit more brown and black. It's also great for these raven, for this raven and this crow, because they naturally have kind of a sheen to their color of purple and green. Honestly, I think possums are super cute. I don't understand people that don't. So this is art masking fluid. Art masking fluid is basically just a protector for parts of your piece that you don't want painted if you want to put down a background. So as you can see, I'm putting down this tree color and this black background. And the edges of all my piece have this masking fluid on it, which keeps them from getting wet, which basically means they don't get stained, they don't get the color on them. And you can see as I'm taking it off, there's white edges around all the places that I'm taking it out of, just because they weren't touched by the paint. Another trick that I like to do is actually put down a dark color and then add a little bit of water or a little bit of a lighter color to kind of bring it back to a medium. I know it's not lighter to darker, but it does work out that way once you set it on paper and then you add other color. And this is where I got the better camera, which I actually got halfway through this video, so I'm sorry about the quality in the beginning, but welcome to the future. I also started using ink in this portion of the video. After I had set and decided where all of my colors were going to be, I wanted to go back over and make them a little bit brighter. I really enjoy painting with ink just because it is so vibrant, and it doesn't really fade lighter like some watercolors can, which is really nice. Another great thing about watercolors, if you don't like something and it's still wet, you can generally just pick it right off that piece of paper with a paper towel or a napkin. You can also go back and add highlights if you feel like doing that. So I'm just adding some light greens back to that lichen on her belly. Another fun trick is if you wanted to blend two colors, you can actually put them, not actually touch them together, but put them, like put the orange on top and the green on bottom like I did, and then you can add a little bit of water in the mid section, and that water will blend the two together without you actually having to touch it, which is really cool. And here I'm actually using the coffee from earlier that day that I was drinking to go over my vulture, my other animals, and my witch with kind of a just earthier tone. Coffee is really great for skin tones, and I also think it makes things look a little bit more real than they would normally, which is kind of cool. Definitely make sure if you're going to use your coffee from today that you do not put sugar in it, because it will make your paint sticky, which can be inconvenient for your hand. And if your coffee's not a dark enough shade, just go ahead and pop it in the microwave for maybe 2 minutes, and it should evaporate enough that it'll darken, and you can use it as a darker shade. And I also don't suggest using batteries as weights, or ink bottles for that matter, but sometimes your paper pops up and it just does strange things. Your water's going where it's not supposed to, and you kind of need a weight. Batteries might be a safety hazard though, so maybe don't use those like I did. And here is where I use the acrylic, so that's actually black acrylic paint that I mixed with a little bit of water just to make a wash, so I could put that in the background because it's darker than the black ink that I had. And I always want to remind people if they look at a piece of art, or they look at, you know, something that they think they can't do, that you can do it. I'm sure there are people that are looking at my art right now and going, wow, I could totally do that. Yeah, you definitely can. There are probably people looking at it that are like, I could never do that. You definitely can too. It takes a lot of practice. I've been painting probably since I was like 6 or 7. It takes a lot of practice to get good at something, but you can absolutely do it if you want to. And I'm just using a micro felt tip pen for these details, which you can buy at Hobby Lobby. Any craft store really will have them. And that's it. Be sure to check out the before and after and all of my social medias. Thank you guys.